What you're about to hear is an excerpt, but the link is here for the full episode with Melinda. If you are in transition from oppressive, toxic, less mindful relationships with children in your life over to something more conscious, something more liberation minded, something that is healing centered, you gotta listen to this episode.
Oh, Akilah, we speak the same language, and I don't listen to podcasts. It's not because I don't like them. They just don't make sense in my life, or at least previously didn't. Like, I would be asking people, when do you listen? Because I don't commute. So if I'm in the car, he's in the car with me. I'm talking to him, and I don't know when I'm supposed to listen. So this time, the fact that I prioritize listening to your podcast, it's been such a joy for me because, like, I listen to it in the bathtub. So it's going back to the ritual.
Yes.
It's part of my ritual. It's like something I want, I need, the same desire that I had at the bus stop every morning. I still have that. And so when I listen to it, it's going to make me cry now, but like I cry in the bathtub because I feel like these are my people. And these are the parents that I couldn't find. I live in Los Angeles. I really did like equate. I felt like all the good parents live in Atlanta. That's what I And I would go to Atlanta a lot to try and like be around them. One of my dear friends is an unschooler in Atlanta. And so I felt like the hope that I have coming from 6 months ago, where I felt like I have a child who says he thinks he's depressed, who hates school and is only happy on Saturday. And then mid-Sunday, he goes back into sadness. And everyone's judging me that video games bring him joy. To go from that place to being in the bathtub and just feeling like, here they are, listening to the guests on your podcast, listening to your children on the podcast, and being like, these are my people. And it's not too late. He's not 30, he's 10, and I still have a chance to pivot and to find support in a way that I have not been able to find in motherhood. So when I say that this is a gift to me, like this is this hole that I've had. I have felt so alone in motherhood. And to feel like, even if I don't even speak to the people, but just knowing them and hearing them,
yes,
and having this discourse around it makes me feel like, okay, it's not instantly completely closed, but it instantly contracted in a way that it made me feel like I knew we were going to be okay, but I felt alone in figuring out what that looks like. And when I tell you, so when Raider said school was making him depressed, I was like, that's all you got to say. We're getting out of it. That's what I said. Okay, let me figure this out. I know that we don't know what homeschooling means, but I'm going to look into it because I'll be damned if I lose you to school. And that's what I felt like. I was losing my child. His joy was gone. And now he's in there cackling all day. And he's got all these online friends and they're trading like sleeves and shit. And in terms of ritual, so what happened to naturally emerge was I was getting up at 8:30, and that's usually like my core work hours. And so I was getting up and doing my own rhythm for like a while. And then he would just naturally come out at 10 and be like, I'm hungry. And then we would eat, and then we would walk the dog. And so from like 10 to 12:30, we're just hanging around, chilling, and then he go back on his games, and I get started on work. And so that ritual has naturally emerged, where I get a couple hours in the morning to do my thing. He gets a couple hours to do his, and we get to connect. He's telling me about what he was doing.
Yes. Oh, I remember when that started happening for us. And I was like, oh my God.
We got to flow. We got to flow.
Yes, because I spent so many years simulating it for the girls. Like, nope, from this time to this time, like way out of school, I was still doing that until, because so I love that you so early.
I couldn't believe, Akilah, how quick it happened. I feel like the fact that I spoke to you, it's also magical. This is what magic looks like in my life. I don't sit around and do spells and stuff, but magic shows up in really, really real ways.
Yes.
And the fact that I had just reached out to you, so I had just enough in my pocket to go into this journey with like a little permission. You gave me permission to be curious, and I could almost hear you if I tried to like be like, and then from 10 to 1, I was like, Akilah side-eyeing me from across the country, like put that calendar away. And it was stressing me out, and he was crying. I was like, okay, this is replicating, school.
Yes.
I said, fuck the calendar. We're going to just see. When does he come out of the room? What if I never go in there? Does he ever come out? He sure does. Guess what? He's hungry. Yep. And then when he eats, then we start talking. And next thing you know, we're talking for an hour. And then we take a walk, and it's 2 hours. And then he goes back in, and I get some work done. So that's been really beautiful to see that ritual emerge.
Yes. And it's just going to continue to just evolve in ways that make so much sense for you and for him and the work you do, because you'll also understand each other's rhythms, support each other's rhythms. Like, I'm so grateful that you shared that, because I tend to forget those moments. It's been a minute, but you're so right. Oh, I love that, Melinda. I went right back.
And even for people who don't have children, I mean, that's what I'm hoping that people are getting from this moment. It's like, what do you want to do with your time? What do you not want to do? What do you miss, but what don't you miss? What are all the things that you're not having to do right now? Like, get up at 5:45. That feels good. Instead of thinking about all the things that we've lost, like, what have we gained in having this level of autonomy for those of us that are, I will say, plenty of people, including my partner, are still on the front lines working every day. So not everyone is at home in this dance. But for those of us that are looking at the privilege in that we're getting to see, when do our bodies want to wake up?